operation. The management of price and prices and price policies in export marketing is somewhat more complex than domestic marketing. Remember, marketing covers product pricing, product pricing, promotion, and place. Even though now we now have 5 pieces of marketing, even 6 pieces of marketing, some even say 7 pieces of marketing. But in the fundamental 4 P's that were initially propounded, we have pricing there. So pricing is a strategy for marketing. Pricing is you can be able to get access to market based on pricing. Due to increasing complexity of market, price decisions are becoming more critical than ever. All markets are becoming more segmented, which result in firms having to broaden their product lines with different products aimed at different types of customers. Gone are the days when Coca-Cola could offer a single brand to everyone. Today, Coca-Cola will have Coke, Diet Coke, caffeine-free Coke, Cherry Coke. Now, what's that telling you? You can have a product and have different variants of the product. And that also affects the pricing. Of concern to the export marketing manager are the following: pricing decisions for products that are produced wholly or in part in one country and sold in another country. Pricing decisions that are made on products produced or marketed locally, but with some centralized influence from outside the country in which the products are produced or marketed. The effect of pricing decision on one market, on the company operation, and on the other country. Broadly speaking, pricing decision includes setting the initial price as well as changing the established price of products from time to time. Changing a price may involve a discount or allowance or anything that represents a deviation from the so-called base price. Price decision must be made for different classes of purchasers. That is, prices must be set for sales, consumer, and industrial users. Now, what is this telling you? Sometimes you can't have a blanket price. You must have different prices for different people, especially when you are a manufacturer. You are processing. Because you're going to be selling to consumers. You're going to be selling to wholesalers. You're going to be selling to retailers. You're going to be selling to distributors. You're going to be exporting. And you must have different pricing policies. That means you must have objectives. That means you must have objectives. Even if you are doing commodity also, depending on who you are selling to, that also influences your price. Consumers or industrial users, wholesalers, distributors, and other importing agencies, partners in strategic alliances, licenses when part or component are exported, own subsidiary or joint venture. So in this case now we are looking at wholesale, distributor, and other importing agencies abroad. If you are selling, you might need to have a presence at the destination market. We made that recommendation. With that recommendation in mind, if you are going to export to yourself or to your partner in another country, or you export to, now let's say you start exporting to Canada, and someone went to Canada from the US and saw it and decided they want to import it to the US. The guy in Canada is your partner, you are working together. The one in the US is like just a regular distributor. Now, the way you will deal with the guy in Canada is going to be different from the person in the US. Because in Canada, you look for that person, you are paying that person a commission. You are more like the same company, but you have another person entirely new who want to be part of your chain. Now, your pricing must be such that you put a lot of factors into consideration. Competition is a very important one. Most of the time, people look at only cost, but you also have to look at competition and a number of other factors I'll talk about soon. There are 5 distinct facets to pricing problem facing export manager. At least 3 of them are unique to exporting. These 5 facets, each of which will be discussed later, include fundamental pricing strategy. What is your strategy? When you enter into export market, sometimes you want to go in and skim the market, take over all the people that can pay more. Those are the people you want to target. And sometimes after a while, you slide down and go down to meet the middle market. Depending on what you're looking at, sometimes you go in and lower your price. There is something called dumping, which we must avoid. Dumping is said to happen when you're exporting to a country and you're selling at a price lower than your own local price. People will do that. This product costs $1 in Nigeria, or sorry, $5 in Nigeria, you export and you're selling at $4 abroad. It doesn't make sense. But you know what? Some people do it. Because sometimes when they are exporting, they are using the excess capacity of the factory. So even if they sell at a lower price, they won't be at a loss in the real sense of the word. But they are also doing it for a reason, to generate some market share. Then relation of foreign pricing policy with domestic policy to avoid dumping. Currency issues, another major challenge. Elements in the price quotation, transfer pricing, as a way to bridge the gap between domestic and export pricing matters. We discuss first the nature of the price and arrive at what we call the anatomy of price. Now, transfer pricing often happens when you are dealing with countries. I'm dealing with my partner in another country, the same business. So this is ABC Limited Nigeria, ABC Limited in Ghana. You are going to have to deal with the issue of transfer pricing because government is interested because people use it to avoid tax. Element in price quotation. Now, one of the things I'm sure maybe most likely next week, it's likely we are going to do this twice. Next week, we'll likely be looking at the cost element in export pricing. Cost element, most likely, if time does not permit us today. No other marketing tool has such a powerful and immediate effect on firm sales and profitability record as pricing. So people are very keen on pricing. One thing I will tell you is, when I did the first shipment of pap and beans flour to UK, there are people who are Nigerians in that market who dropped their price. Our packaging was a lot better than theirs, and they dropped their price. We had to also come down on our price. And they were Nigerians, two major contenders, and they dropped their price. The consequences of price changes are more direct. Now where I'm going is that the next shipment we did was not very profitable because of that, if not even at a loss. But we went ahead. We realized if we continue to ship, after a while, as long as we are not making such huge loss, maybe just barely breaking even, but we'll continue to ship barely breaking even, maybe making about 5%. Over time, we can increase. Why? Because they get used to the product. So if we increase a little by 10%, they will be able to probably buy. And we can do price increase maybe every 6 months until we arrive at where we are going. By that time, they are used to the product and they are glued to the product. The consequences of price changes are more direct and immediate than those of other elements in the marketing mix. Price changes can increase your sales drastically as they result in subsequent customers and, in most cases, competitors' reaction. Given their power, pricing issues have attracted surprisingly little research interest compared with other marketing tools. What applies to a single market setting holding keep more true rather for the global marketplace because additional context factor increase complexity. In order to understand the structure of a price, we need to first examine those basic factors that influence setting a price in the first place. Number one, cost. Number two, market condition, the behavior. Now the demand for food is high, so you can afford to sell at a higher price now. Market condition is favorable. Competition. When you are thinking of competition, always remember people competing with you are not necessarily people selling the same product. People selling other products that meet similar needs. And I like to use the example of snack. If I'm exporting granite cake, kuli kuli, and someone else is exporting plantain chips, we are competitors. People will buy plantain chips, chin chin, and granite cake, kuli kuli, for the same reason. Even I'm exporting pap, I'm competing with coffee. Why? People that take it most of the time take it for the same reason, entirely during winter. Legal and political issues. Now, legal issue having to do with tariff, the law guiding the tariff in that country, and what you have to pay. General company policy on finance, and then production and marketing. Costs are often a major factor in price determination. And there are a number of reasons to have detailed information on cost. Costs are useful in setting a price floor. In the short run, when a company has excess capacity, the price floor may be out-of-pocket cost. That is, such direct costs as labor, raw materials, and shipping. However, in the long run, full cost for all products must be recovered. Now, there are some costs that you probably will not put into consideration, like your own salary, like your own time, A number of other costs. Maybe you use your car to drive somewhere to do something regarding the business. A number of other costs. We tend to look at only the costs directly related. The actual cost flow, therefore, may often be somewhere between direct cost and full cost. Some of the reasons for pricing exports at less than full cost include to assist dealer organization to grow. To assist dealer organization growth. If you want to grow your export, you can't sell it because there are a lot of costs in shipping it to destination. So, for example, if I'm buying the pap from the lady that produced the pap I ship, I buy it at a lower price than the price that is being sold locally. Why? Because she also needs that market. So keep a group of employees working together because you form a team, and sometimes you need that team to keep working, and sometimes you have to work on pricing so that at the end of the day, they remain in business. To sell a special product outside the usual export line. To supply manufacturing prototype to a subsidiary or license orders for large companies. The products sold in domestic market also at less than full cost. Market condition. The nature of the market determines the upper limit of price. The utility or value placed on the product by the purchaser set the price ceiling. When a manager attempts to establish the value of a product in an export market, the manager, in essence, is attempting to establish a demand schedule for the product. Value should be measured in terms of product utility, translated into monetary terms. Thus, pricing can be viewed as a continuous process of adjusting the price of export products to fluctuating utility of the last prospective buyer so as to make him a customer. Sometimes the market determines your price. Market says this is the price they can buy, and you have to adjust to that market. In June 1988, Isuzu Motors Limited of Japan increased its base price in the United States for its poor utility vehicle and pickup truck. What did justify higher price was a higher demand. Purchases of Isuzu vehicles were more than 6% above those a year earlier. Why purchases of Japanese produced competing products all decline? So if the demand rise and the price, people are willing to pay more, then you might be able to. And I gave an example earlier of the current market condition created by COVID. Another challenge is competition. Competition. Why cost and demand conditions circumscribe the price floor and ceiling, competitive conditions help to determine where within the floor and the ceiling can you set your price. The lowest price you can sell is determined by cost. The highest price you can sell is determined by the condition of the market, the demand in the market. But competition will let you know between those two extremes, where do you set your price? Reaction of competitor is often the crucial consideration imposing practical limitation to export pricing alternative. Prices of competing products, substitute products, have an impact on the sales volume attainable by an exporter. So the decision is whether to price above at the same level as below competition. That means you must have an idea of what is going on in the market. I mean, you must have an idea of what is going on in the market. Why is this very important? To have an idea of what is going on in the market. This is very important because it makes it easier for you to be able to take some very critical and crucial decisions. You know, sometimes some people are doing business, but they are not in tune with what is going on in the market. You must be in tune. You must be very, very in tune with what is going on in your market. That means you must have someone there that is giving you information. You need feedback from time to time. In addition to present competitors, potential competitors must be considered. Of relevance is the extent and the importance of the barriers to entry and competition. How easy and cheap is it to get into this business and compete effectively? How easy and cheap is it? Barriers that an exporter can use to provide shelter from competition include having a product distinctiveness, a brand prominence with high brand equity, and a well-established channel of distribution, both between countries and within the country. Look at it. Product distinctiveness. What's your unique selling point? Brand prominence. You have to build that over time. And high equity. but more importantly, distribution. Look, the only thing that I think is even more important is distribution. Look, if you can get distribution right, then you have an advantage in the market. And that's where partnership come in. Establish distribution both between countries and within a country that can provide greater dealer strength. Obviously, the more significant the barrier, the more pricing freedom there are. Strategy for basing prices on cost, whether full cost or marginal cost, oversimplify the pricing process in export marketing. There are a number of different pricing strategies that may be used effectively in export markets. Pricing is not the simple problem of establishing the selling price somewhere between cost and maximum, and the maximum that the traffic, the market customer or market and consumer or customer can bear. It is not one of the mathematical precision, but one of statistical probabilities. The problem of the pricing executive is much like that of the player in a card game. His or her play is determined by the moves and the counter moves of the opponent. This anticipating and reacting to opponent or competitor is known as strategy and is as important in pricing as in card game. So it is the gap between the cost and the value that makes it possible to have a pricing strategy. Which strategy is appropriate for a company depends upon objectives underlining the strategy and choice. The objective. Now, this is where your objective as a business comes in. That is just what is it that export management wants to achieve in the export market. What do you want to achieve in the export market? This is so critical and so important. What exactly are you looking at achieving in the export market? What you are looking at achieving in the export market is of paramount importance. Now, there are different objectives that you want to achieve in the export market. Sometimes, satisfactory return on investment. Sometimes, maintaining a market share. Sometimes, meeting a specific product profit goal. Sometimes, largest possible market share. Sometimes, meeting a specific sales goal. Sometimes, profit maximization. Sometimes, pricing at high end of the price range. Sometimes, highest return on investment. Sometimes, prices are set at a high level and lower after a certain period as a lapse. Sometimes, meeting competition, be at par with competition. You must decide which of these pricing objectives you want to explore. You must have a reason